Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. Back in the house, baby. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right, back in the house. It's been a while since we did a conventional pod, right? We did a Twitter
Been a week.
sequence. Yeah, it's been a while. Life got in the way some nights. One night we just both fell asleep. But yesterday we were able to do a wonderful Twitter Spaces with Gambino and Jeff, right? The real
Jeff. What a name, Jeff.
But he was excellent. I mean, it was great having him
I
on,
don't know,
right?
yeah, great guys. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Are there multiple Jeffs on Twitter? There probably are, right? There's probably
There
some of
probably
Jeff
are.
on Twitter.
The tennis Jeff, who is a staple on Parlay Bandits, I believe, is his platform.
We're gonna actually try to get some. Yeah, we're talking real Jeff Thomas here. Shout out to real. His name is Jeff Thomas.
Yeah.
It's real Jeff Thomas. And we got the Gambino. The Gambino is the Gambino. That is a
so
unique name.
Gambino kind of opened our eyes into kind of a different perspective of betting tennis, and because his specialty is like set betting, right?
And live betting, which the combination of that is insane.
It's very hard for us. So it was like cool to get, that perspective. And I think that's something maybe we will start to do a little bit more of, like set one betting. Some guys on the Discord actually have some success on it. Like if we hit green set one, that's what, like plus 300 today?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, because like underdogs are typically better early on, I would say, right? Like the majority of the time.
Yeah, I wonder if that's actually true. I would probably make sense. I wonder if that's true or not, but it makes some sense, I guess. Like logically, be interesting to see the data behind that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get into the quarterfinals for Atlanta, Umag, and Hamburg, let's just since we didn't pod, let's just touch on shortly, a short segment on what happened last week in Newport, Bastad, and Gstaad. Like we just want to kind of talk about Michelsen, who we had a 40-1 futures on. It didn't end up cashing, but like we had a tremendous hedging opportunity in the final.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I both hedged on that. I ended up about plus 10 units on my hedge.
Yeah, I would say so.
I did, I was able to hedge out for about plus 10 units, so it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. So what do you make of him though, Michelsen?
I mean, it was a nice tournament, right? And like he's it's interesting. He's like really like a very mature tennis player for a 17-year-old. Like he's got a really good tennis IQ. He's got pretty good instincts. But he lacks I think he lacks his game is kind of very flat, right? It's not like I don't know. I feel like he lacks explosiveness, is what I would say. He lacks like power and explosiveness.
Which 18-year-old besides Alcaraz really has that, right? Is that something he can develop? Or you think he's just not
a little bit, but other like younger guys have had speed, right? Like he doesn't really have a ton of speed or explosiveness or like I don't know. Like that's my thought there. Is I don't see a lot of, that's
but his tennis IQ and the way he plays the game is above most 17 or 18-year-olds. Like it's actually quite impressive to see how he did.
Well, that's why it's odd, right? Like, but yeah.
Well, I think that's actually in a way tougher to develop. Especially like a 17-year-old if he's still like growing or going through puberty, like boys kind of also develop later. Like I think he'll be okay. Like I could see top 30, top 40 for him in his
here's the controversial question. Should he stay pro or should he go?
Hello?
Go to Georgia and play college tennis.
Yeah,
do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So we had a little bit of a quick lag there.
I mean, I think if he goes to college, he really should be going to like you know, like a D1 that's like, you know, top of the, you know.
Well, he's committed to the University of Georgia.
Okay, so that's good. Like, he would need to be on a top tier school where he's like playing a lot of tennis if he wants to go pro afterwards. You know,
Well,
like
I mean,
he would
yeah, I
have to
think he
follow
would
the
qualify
Isner
as that,
Steve
right?
Johnson route, right? And he'd have to win just a great, you know, a huge percentage of it. Like I think he could play challengers like during the summer, right?
Yeah.
So
I think it would be really good. I think it'd be really, really good opportunity for him to get like to refine just his especially the athleticism piece, just the overall athleticism, and even maybe some stroke refinement to get a little more explosion in the strokes.
but 4 years is a long time, and then you start going pro 22, and then you got to travel.
Well, he doesn't have to go 4 years, right? Like he can
Yeah,
go
I
2
think if he
years.
would do 2 years, that would be the most beneficial to him.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think it's like I think like his. I mean, probably depends on how he's developing, but I think it'd be a huge benefit. Like I think that actually it would be a huge mistake if he doesn't. And I don't know. Like I actually could see. I think there is a flame out or not like a flame out risk here, but there's a risk that he becomes like a different version of Munar, where like he peaks early if he doesn't develop that athleticism.
Yeah.
And even his strokes, I don't think are really like amazing right now, right? Like they're
Oh.
like I feel like he's more a product of like really high tennis IQ, which is weird. And like I said, a little scary because like you think of a guy like Munar who like, you know, as like a late teen, you know, 21-year-old had that. And then like that's all he had. And you know, now he's kind of
But
stagnated
Minar,
for
we never thought
years.
that he had a really high tennis IQ. He was kind of like, you know, just a grinder, right? Like just
No, but
grind down some
do you
balls
think
and
that if
stuff.
Munar had a higher tennis IQ, he'd be like top 20? Like I think Michelsen,
Probably
no matter
not.
what he is, I think he'll have a solid pro career. Like I think he'll have a pro career. But I think the question is, will he be like top 50 or top 20 or you know top
Yeah.
10 to 20? Like
I think clay will always be a problem for him. You know, like he's always going to be a fast court player, no matter how much he develops.
I don't know. I'm not willing to say that yet. Like I think that right. Like I think if he develops the athleticism and the power, like the power and the explosiveness, right? And if he fills out a little bit more, like gets a little stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like what he saw. I mean, to get to a final, you know, at 18 years old, you know, a 250 event, like following a challenger win, like that's a tremendous run. So he clearly has ability, and like I would be surprised if he doesn't make top 20 in his career. You know.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah.
I can see it going either way. I mean, I think it all depends on how the athleticism develops.
Mm-hmm. And then heading to Gstaad, Switzerland last week, Pedro Cachin wins with.
Yeah, we kept catching those tickets or cashing those.
Oh my God,
tickets.
he was incredible for us yet last.
Yeah, I just wish I had taken him on an outright because I think I took him on a quarter, not an outright, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, and then so going into the semis, I bet him to win the event at plus 250 because I thought that like the semi field was really weak. It was Cachin, ARV. Who else was there?
I'm looking up now. Cachin and ARV ended up being the winners in the two semis. They played in the finals. Oh, Stricker and Wawrinka won the doubles. I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
They did.
But no, it was Cachin. It was Medjedovic, Cachin, Kecmanovic, and ARV.
Right.
And Kecmanovic just laid an egg against ARV. I don't know how you lose 2 and 3 to ARV.
Well, he's prone to that, right? We've seen that time and time again, right? Where
But I was sad because I bet him money line, and like it's he's just so hard to bet. Like
I think you bet over 12 and a half, right?
What?
You bet over 12 and a half.
I think it might have been over 12 and a half. I think it was over 12 and a half. But like
I actually like I bet more than you. Like I'm higher volume than you, and even I have just stayed away from Kecmanovic. I just like
because he can be really good some days. That's why it's so hard. Like he actually
really
like he can be top 30 on some days. But then some days he's like challenger level. And you just don't know which Kecmanovic is going to show up.
I know. It's funny, Wooj made a comment about his weight. Like how he's like
yeah, there's a little bit of that going on.
He's a little bit heavier. You know, maybe the days he loses 2 and 3, he just like hasn't, an extra bowl of ice cream the night before or something.
Oh, I doubt it's an extra bowl of ice cream. I've got some other theories there.
You got some other theories? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you willing to share?
No, I mean, it's not hard, right? Like, just generally think of like what kinds of things would people do, right? Like, I don't know, like, is he like? I mean, when guys have this happen this often, I start to question their motivation, right? Like, almost similar to like a Bublik in a way, except Bublik makes it more obvious during matches. But like, I start to question their, like their motivation week in and week out.
Yeah.
And are they resting up? Are they doing the proper, like, are they taking care of their body properly outside the tennis court? Like, that's the type of stuff I question,
It's just weird to me that, like, the Serbs have this issue. Like, when you look up to Djokovic,
I don't know, but, like, who has this issue besides Krajinovic and Kecmanovic?
Lajovic, I mean, he can throw in some
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like Lajovic, like, first of all, with Lajovic, he's pretty much a clay specialist, right?
That's true.
And he's older now, right? Isn't he like in his 30s now?
He is older. Okay, so yeah, I'll give him a pass. Yeah, I guess it's mainly Kecmanovic and Krajinovic. So it's only 2 guys. Okay. We'll see if Medvedev, what do you think of him? Like, big game.
Big game, makes a lot of errors, but like he's young, right? Like there's time to fix that. Like, I don't know. I think he's promising, but I don't think there's any guarantee yet.
I agree. That's pretty much my takeaway. Like, when he played team, he won, right? Like, so, but there was a period in that second set where he just like completely went away, like those periods of erraticness and stuff. But if he's on, he's a guy no one wants to see in the draw.
Yeah.
He just has a huge game. But Cachin, impressive run.
I mean, he's definitely showing himself to be an altitude guy, right? Like another clay altitude, almost another like clay altitude kind of specialist.
Which is weird to me because he doesn't really have that big of a game.
It is weird. I don't really understand why either.
I'm starting to think, like, because ARV has actually been better at altitude later in his career for similar reasons.
But has he? I mean, he obviously made a run in this tournament, but like, what other tournaments has he made a run in?
Well, he's won this tournament before.
True.
And like, I don't know. I just feel like these guys with less power, they just kind of need a little bit of more work from the court. Like, because their movement is superior on clay, so they need a clay court to, play well. But like, I feel like if they're at like sea level, it's just really hard for them to hit through the court.
Yeah, but then you have the other guys out there. Like, I don't know. I don't see Munar crush. I mean, actually, Munar is okay in these high altitude stuff too. I don't see like Federico Coria doing great in these high altitude tournaments, and like he's another guy in that ilk, right? Like, so I feel like it's not necessarily like a 1-for-1.
Okay,
which is why it's so confusing.
Player specific.
Yeah, like I said, like ARV. I feel like ARV had been good on clay up until this year. I feel like he'd just been a good clay court player in general, regardless of altitude.
Okay.
And like this year, he was just terrible until this tournament. So I'm not convinced that it's altitude with him as much as just like whatever reason he had a good week this week. Because he didn't do that well in like Madrid or like any of the other altitude tournaments, did he?
That's true. Well, yeah, he just sucked the rest of the year.
And actually, you know what? I'm also going to say this about he won in 3 sets versus Fognini in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Sonego in 3 sets. Beat Varias in 3 sets. Like, it's really not that impressive of a run. Mm-hmm. Like those guys are all decent. They're not like terrible players, but they're also not like, I don't know.
Cachin also had a similar run. I mean, he beat Tara Daniel, Bautista Agut, Munar, Medvedev, and Ramos Vinolas to win the title. So it's not like...
Yeah, but he won the first 3 at least in straight sets, right? Or first 4 in straight sets.
2 tie breaks.
Versus Agut, the number 1 seed. The other 3 matches were easy walks until the final.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like...
Yeah.
That's kind of,
I mean, we got him at plus money against RBA. Cachin against Munar, he was pretty much a pick'em. He may have actually been
I think he was even plus money against Munar because of the head-to-head. Yeah.
Crazy. He was like minus 130 against Medvedev.
Yeah.
And then he was a favorite against ARB, but like
I didn't hit him in the final. Just because he was, in my mind, he was kind of too much of a favorite to hit, but
okay. Yeah, I think I had minus 2 or something like that, and that 6
you
left.
like games or something. Yeah.
Yeah, but I also had him to win the title after the quarter. We hit the quarter futures.
Right.
Yeah, so I was just riding that as well. So,
and honestly, I think that was, then we had Bastad, which had the best players, but I personally didn't think that was a particularly interesting result. Like Rublev beating Ruud in the final, like, we made some money off that because we hit that as a bet, but like, I think it was one of our GBM plays of the day, but like, it wasn't particularly like, I didn't think it was like particularly for me educational.
Well, Rublev,
I guess the only thing I would say is like Ruud is a.
What's that?
I think the only thing I would say is for me, Ruud is a fade. Even on clay, like, we faded him today against Garin.
We did, but we could have easily lost that. Like, that was such an unnecessary sweat. Like, I have no takeaways from that match besides like we survived. That's kind of like my takeaway because, okay, Ruud was so bad in the first set, and then like once he found his game, like Garin had no chance. I don't know. Does it say about bad Ruud or good Garin, or bad Ruud? Well, good Ruud or bad Garin?
So I didn't watch much of it to really be able to tell. I would say like, I don't know. I guess I would say like there's a like Ruud is like, he's still better than Garin. You know what I mean? Like Garin's not even in the top 100 in the world right now. He's better on clay than other surfaces, I think, but he's not even top 100 in the world right now overall ranking. And I still think Ruud is like top 10 to 20 in the world on clay. It's just that like I feel like he's being treated as someone who's top 5 in the world on clay, and I wouldn't put him there. You know what I mean? So you have to find what?
I'd agree with that, but I don't think that quantifies him as being a fade. Like, I think you have to see who he's playing and the kind of the spot and stuff. Like, I was willing
a little bit, but like, but like, I don't know. I feel like he's a fade that people aren't onto yet, though, right? As much I feel like, whereas like some of these other fades are like, I don't know. We talk about as fades are like, the books get onto these guys pretty quick.
So I'm very curious to see what you have to say about his quarterfinal against Arthur Fils.
All right, that'll be exciting. That's
an exciting, exciting match to talk about. He clearly doesn't like these clay courts that much, and he's not really feeling the ball well here in Hamburg. But that being said, he's just better than so many of these guys. Like I can't just like fade him. Like it's hard for me to fade him to lose these matches. It's easy for me to fade him in terms of like taking games or like betting a guy to win a set or something like that.
I get it. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's how I feel with Ruud too. I feel like with Ruud, he's a fade. He's a fade, but I'm not fading. I'm not fading guys and taking these guys on money lines. I'm taking these guys to win sets or cover game spreads.
It's like with Tsitsipas during the grass court swing. Like he was so bad that I was fading him to the point where I just backed the dog and hit the money line.
Right. Yeah. I don't think Ruud is that extreme. I agree with you there. It's yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that moves to Hamburg. So takeaways. Ruud 2-3 set wins thus far. Again, kind of talk about him a little more. Like 2-3 set wins. Really neither like that impressive. Like Baez hasn't been great, and it took him 3 sets against Baez. I think he lost the second there. Yeah, he lost the second 6-1. Got breadsticked again and against Garin, and came back.
So what about this takeaway with Ruud? I don't know if I would do it against Fils, but like, how about like under games on sets? Because like he hasn't played a set over 9 games.
See, but like, I actually think like I'm gonna see if I'm hoping the books adjust that a little bit, because I think he's actually more liable to go over on sets than under. he's actually a little bit more serve-oriented than the average player on clay. Because his game is like, and I think it's because his forehand is so much better than his backhand. So
serve +1 kind of helps him.
Yeah.
Whereas on the return, if he gets pinned to the backhand corner, it's tough.
I just think like these have been matchups where like he's played against worse guys, but he's played some awful sets. Like
that's true. That's true.
Altmaier beat Rublev 2-2 today. I have no takeaway from that. I think Rublev was just gassed.
I agree. Good run Rublev had in Sweden.
Yeah.
I thought
we would have talked more about that.
like,
Congratulations to Rublev for getting a trophy. It's just I don't think that like Rublev winning a 250 is super interesting. Like he's a good player, right? I would expect him to win 250s.
And I think Rublev, like, he just legitimately just tries to win every tournament he enters. Like, I don't think there's ever a lack of motivation spot with him, right? Like,
yeah,
it doesn't feel that way. He just gassed. It was just totally, he was spent for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily the, like, I think it's that Cerundolo match. That's probably the one that really took the most out of him last week in Bastad.
Probably, but I don't know if it's any specific match. I think it's just volume with matches, right? Like
it's a Zapata match, obviously. Like that was a long, tough match, and then that was a quick round too. You know, like because
he didn't. I would have liked like it's just Altmaier's just such a tough guy to back, and we'll talk about him more, I think, too, probably because he's in a quarter.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy to back, but he's also a tough guy to beat. Like he's not.
Oh yeah. No, he's just that's why I'm saying he's just a tough guy to bet.
Oh, to bet, BET, not
either way. Yeah, bet. Okay. Like either way, like he's tough to bet and he's tough to fade. Like I never know what to do with him.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll talk about this match later.
Musetti. I think this is interesting. Musetti, he had a tough match. 3 sets with Kovalik, 6-4 in the third. And he lost a set to Mislic, like 6-4 last week. Yeah. So this is his second lost set against, like, honestly, a not very good challenger player. Or, like, a challenger player who just gets balls back. And I think it's kind of interesting.
I mean, Kovalik has been decent recently. He's kind of flying out of... He qualified here.
No, he didn't. He lost to Emer, and he lucky losered.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, maybe he has...
I mean, he qualified for Bastad, but I wasn't impressed with Bastad. I wasn't impressed with that win over Fokina. We talked about that. I don't know that I would say he's been particularly good. I mean, if you look, like, actually, I would say he's been pretty bad. The last month, he's been better, but, like, I guess he's winning matches, but I don't think it's been particularly impressive.
Well, the first round match against Seaboth Wild is not a bad win. It's decent. But Seaboth Wild has been a shell of himself since the French Open, so that's.
Well, is he really a shell of himself, or is that just who he actually is?
True level, yeah. It's probably true. Probably right. I got to see another match from Musetti. I don't particularly like him against Jury tomorrow. I mean, we'll talk about that match. I think if I get a good line on Jury, I probably would take that. Or maybe do like a 3-set line or something, because I think Musetti is going to be a pretty solid favorite in that match. I didn't see the line yet.
Yeah.
But he's defending champion too, so he has a ton of points to defend here.
I get it, but I don't know, man. It's he's at 500, right? And now he's made the quarters, so he's got what, he's got most of them left to defend. He's still got 400 of them left to defend. So yeah, it still matters for him, but
it does. What do you make of his game though? We haven't talked too much Musetti. Do you like his upside? What do you think his true potential is? Do you think he's ever going to be a top 10 guy?
I mean, the serve is getting better. I think it all depends on the serve. Because I guess the problem is, right, with the exception of clay, if you don't have a good serve, it's really, if you don't have a good serve +1, I think it's really hard to win on any surface but clay.
I think his serve isn't that good though. It's a liability.
So that's what I'm saying, but it's getting better. I think it's better than where it was a year ago. It's tough with him because you have to remember, we forget with Musetti, he's only 21.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
And And if you remember, like back before he won Hamburg, he was ranked in like the 60s. So like we think of Musetti as being like this like veteran great, like this veteran player is like how much more upset does he have? But like this is really his first year in the top 20. So like, I think he's, I don't know, like the bottom of the top 20 in men's tennis right now is like a little bit of a revolving door. And it's not particularly like, I don't know. We've talked about this all the time. Whenever we do power rankings, we can never get to 20 on any surface.
Yeah,
we get to 15 and we get like stuck.
Yeah, I mean, he has a world-class backhand, but I don't think he actually also takes the ball early enough.
I actually kind of disagree with that statement.
You don't think his backhand's that good?
I think his backhand's a liability on high balls.
Okay. It's good. Interesting.
And maybe I think his backhand's a liability on fast balls.
Maybe that's why I say that. It looks very flashy.
When he hits it good, it's amazing. It's actually, it's a little bit like, and it's easy to compare one-handed backhands.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually pretty similar to Federer's backhand back in the day. And that, like, obviously, I think Federer's backhand was better, right? He's Roger Federer. But, like, it's like it can be overpowered. It can be a liability. The ball can get up on him. And when the ball gets up on him, it's a little tough for him. But, yeah, when it's his backhand, when it's like at his waist at a good pace, yeah, it's world-class then.
Okay.
That would be my statement.
That's fair. It's a good point. I think his problem actually is he doesn't really have a true ability to take the ball on the rise and take it early. And I think that hurts him a lot. Even on clay in certain aspects when he plays like top 10 guys or like guys better than him, because he doesn't really have the ability to take time away from the opponent.
I don't know how much of it is. I agree with you on the outcome. I don't know if it's an ability to take the ball on the rise. I don't know, and I could be completely wrong on this. And maybe it's just this is what I've seen of him. I could be completely off. I have no data on this.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like he ends up further back in the court positioning wise than other guys.
Yeah, but that's because of that inability to take it on the rise, right? And like
chicken egg, right? Like if you're too far back, it's also really hard to get into.
Yeah, he relies on his defense too much. Like he has an ability to hit the ball big, but he's doing that from too far back in the court. So he's not the best at court positioning.
Yeah.
And I think that's like his biggest issue. And maybe it's due to also his serve.
I think the serve is a bigger issue, actually. I think the serve
probably one, and then that's his second biggest issue, like court position.
Yeah. And I think it's why he's actually like, if you look at his stats, especially on clay, he's one of the best return guys in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of like he wins over 40% of his return points on clay, which is pretty impressive. There's only 5 or 6 guys that do that. There's guys like Djokovic, Sinner, like guys at the top of the game.
Yeah.
But he wins he's like 62 or 63% service points won, which is like below average.
Yeah.
And you can tell in matches he gets broken a lot. He breaks a lot, but he gets broken a lot. Like,
yeah,
which I think makes him hard to bet. Actually,
for him, well, over on break props, that's good with Musetti.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Good call. Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting. I don't know if he has top 10 potential. I would think so at some point in his career. As you said, he's so young. But then again, I don't like. We've talked about this before. I don't like taking age too much into account when talking tennis players. I prefer talking about improvement, and
it's in between. I hear your point. Like, I think what I would say there is like improvement is never guaranteed.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
Like it's not like just because a guy's 7, just because Arthur Fees is 21 and 50 in the world right now, whatever. I think he's 19, 20, 21, whatever he is, doesn't mean in a year he's going to be top 10.
Well, with him. Well, with him, that's the reason why I made that bet, because I see in a steep learning curve with him. Like he's learning quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas guys like Tsitsipas are not learning quickly. Like he has not learned how to hit a backhand slice.
I know.
So
obviously that was a tease, but you get the
point. I know. That was a good bet. All right. What else in Hamburg?
Zverev 110 quarter futures.
It's good.
Looking good. He's gonna play Van Ash.
That Van Ash Fokina match was high drama. That was an awesome match.
Okay,
it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
We talked about Van Ash on the spaces. I mean, he must be a tough guy to play on clay because he just gets a lot of balls back.
Yeah, yeah.
But no chance against Zverev, I guess, unless Zverev just throws a dud, which is possible.
Which he could, right? Like, he's got the diabetes issue. We've seen, he throws a couple duds a year because of that.
Yeah.
Also could be other issues, who knows? But like, I mean, he throws a couple duds.
issues.
Remember Taro Daniel?
Oh, Jesus.
Never forget Taro
that one
Daniel.
was a diabetes issue, but he's had others, like the Ruud one at the French Open. That was a mental issue.
Yeah, that was a dud. Yeah. I mean, you never know. It always could be the diabetes too, right? Like, you never know. It's kind of tricky.
That's true. Yeah.
Could be a sleep issue. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep. Seems to be a lot of talk from pro players about sleep lately.
I don't know if he has the same issues as Kecmanovic, but
could be a Kecmanovic. Yeah, who knows?
An ice cream issue?
No, Zverev is fit, man.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have an ice cream issue.
Yeah. Other than that, Zhizhen Zhang beat Hoffman today. That was a matchup that you and I were opposing each other on.
I know. With match point 9, we had a discussion on the Discord about that. He was strongly opposed to my take on it, and credit to him, he got it right. So
well, I was on it too. I was on the Zhang to win a set last night on the spaces also. I put half a unit on the set on the plus 1.5 sets, and I put half a unit on the money line just because I thought like Zhang is becoming one of my favorite guys to bet, and he probably won't be for much longer because like he's only fun to bet as a dog.
Yeah,
but like, man, like when he's playing good, it's so fun to watch. He's just like smack winners all over the place, and he's so aggressive.
Yeah, but he can also like miss a ton of balls.
Well, that's why he's only fun to back as an underdog. Because if you back him as a favorite, like if you back him as a 220 underdog and you have to sweat that out, like it's fine. It's a plus 220 sweat. You expect that. If you were to ever him as like a minus 200 money line guy and you now have to sweat out his errors, it's just like horrible. Like life is so bad.
Yeah, that's true.
And I can't imagine trying to lay like 4 to 5 games or like laying 1.5 sets with them because like then you're in for a massive sweat.
Mm-hmm. But it's true. When he plays well, he could be incredible. I mean, it could have easily been 6-1, 6-1 the last 2 sets.
It could have been. I think, did he get to match point and choke? He was up 2 breaks. He was up 4-love in the.
Yeah, and then that final game was a massive sweat because he was up 2 breaks.
Yeah.
It was 5-4, and then I think Hoffman had multiple break points to get back.
I think he might have 2 or 3 break points to break back. Hey, but you know who's the MVP of that match? The Yelp for getting out of that chair on that deuce point. Getting out of that chair, overruling that call. That was a close one.
Yeah.
So I don't remember who the ump was. Props to the ump.
Way to go. On an important point, he got off his ass.
That's a big pet peeve of mine, man. That's a big pet peeve of both of ours, I know. Like,
just get off your ass and check the freaking mark. That's what you get paid to do. So ridiculous.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, Jerry beat Etch in the first round, so Etch went out. I think we talked a little about him previously, but he's
I liked Etch futures, but I mean, I knew that was a danger match, and that was the match that I was nervous about, and that's the way it was.
We'll talk some more fees. We'll talk some more Arthur fees. I'm sure because he's playing Ruud. That's all I got from Hamburg.
And our only futures pick here was Zverev to win the quarter, right? At +1, and that's in play, obviously, against Van Ash. I think I also bet him to win the event.
Yeah, I just didn't like the price. There was like 5-1 or something, 6-1. It wasn't a bad bet. It was just kind of a lame. It was like
I didn't.
Okay.
I just bet him to win the quarter. I bet it's Cerundolo to win quarter 4 and Etch to win quarter 3. So that lost. So it's just Zverev right now.
Yeah, I loved the Zverev to win the quarter only because like he's by far the best player in that quarter. Like that's such a bad quarter.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna beat Molchan, Martyr, and Van Ash to win that quarter.
Yeah. I mean, Fokina was the only player that had a legitimate chance, right, of beating him.
Yeah.
But the chance that he has a just as good of a chance of losing before that quarterfinal, which actually happened, right? So
yeah.
Yep. All right. So you want to head to Umag?
Umag.
One of
the best tournaments on the tour.
Yeah.
Not in terms of tennis, but like Just like, I don't know. I've heard that's just a fun city. Like the tournament's played at night. Like it's kind of a cool setting like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's right on the water, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating, man. Today, all 8 matches in Umag went 2 sets.
That is fascinating.
Or no, sorry. In this round of 16, all 8 matches went 2 sets.
I feel like a lot of that boils down to just coincidence.
I think it's mostly coincidence. I think it's 80%, and I think especially with this field, I think it's coincidence.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like if you had like bigger guys in the draw and you had bigger guys going out in straights, I would say maybe it's a little bit of a like appearance fee issue, lack of motivation. But like I don't see why anybody in this draw would be unmotivated.
No, I agree. Team continues to disappoint. That's another takeaway, and like he just has trouble stringing together good matches.
I don't know, man. Like at this point, like I'm just done with team. Like, is he even worth talking about at this point? Like he is what he is. No, I mean honestly, like he is what he is. He's like borderline ATP level on clay, and like not usable anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean he's between top 70 and top 100. That's where he belongs
on clay.
Yeah,
he's worse anywhere else.
That's true.
So like, there's just not like. I feel like it's been long enough now. We can say there's just nothing to talk about there. It's just.
I do feel like books give him still the respect, some more respect than he deserves. It's dwindling down, but like I feel like you might be able to still kind of take advantage of that. Like,
little bit. I mean,
for example, next week.
Maybe in Kitchboy, then in Kitchboy he's at home, so like then you got to ask yourself that question. So he probably gets a small bump for being at home, like, you know.
Yeah. Offner was disappointing. I know you had futures on him. I actually tailed you on that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, but Popyrin's good on clay, man. I mean, I'm not stunned that Popyrin beat him. Like this was a tough tournament, and that like I had no idea who was going to win this tournament.
I was stunned that it was like 3-1 though.
4-1, but yeah. I mean, that's not a good performance from Offner. But I mean, Popyrin's tough on the clay. It's just this tournament, man. It's so random. Like, Lehecka was the #1 seed, and like, I'm still not convinced that he's the best player here.
But with Offner, like, I also think we missed something there. Like, he's played a ton of tennis before this event.
But has he really? Like, he had a solid week off. Like, he played several events, but I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
made quarters of Bastad, played 3 sets with Etch and 3 sets with Zapata. Then he played the week before, he played a challenger in Salzburg, which he won. That's quite a bit of tennis. From July 11th through July 26th, he played
8 matches?
9 matches.
That's not horrible. He's playing every other day.
You went from Austria to Sweden to Croatia. I mean, that's not a huge travel spot, I guess, but like it might be a lot of tennis, like not to a top 10 guy, but like to him it might be. Because like when has he ever kind of played that much tennis? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I'm more willing to buy into like that he's just not that good. And like Popyrin is good, and like Popyrin's like liable to play these kind of great matches, you know, and like blow guys out. Like if Popyrin's playing well, what do you do?
Yeah, he took like Holger Rune to 3 sets in Rome, right? Like he's been pretty good. But that being said, Offner's been good too. Like 4th round of the French.
Yeah.
Won a couple challengers. Like he's had a good year. He's top 60 now, right? So
yeah, I mean, look, I guess I'm not like, I don't know. I think it's like you can't read into every. I don't read. You read it more into like every match than I do, and like that may or may not be good. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's times when you're right. I'm sure there's times when I'm right. Like in the overall take, and it's just hard to like discern which is which. But like I tend to probably read less into individual matches and like more into like longer kind of sets of data trends. And I feel like you read more into individual matches and like. Okay. I think it's personal choice. Like I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing. I'm sure there's
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Popyrin is very hard to bet too. Like
Yeah, he's another guy, man.
You don't know like what he's gonna come up with, because if he comes up with his best stuff, it's tough for anyone to deal with.
We saw that against Fritz, right? Like,
No, seriously. It's just yeah. How about Dino Prizmic? I wanted to hear your takes on him. Do you like his talent? Do you think he's potential to be like a star on the
yeah,
tour?
I mean, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just always tough to evaluate these like 17, 18-year-old kids, right? Like, yeah, I mean, this is a nice run. Like, I don't know if he's a talent to be a star. Like, I hate putting that kind of like talk on the guys because like I just think it's like you're almost setting it up to like be a disappointment when you do that. You know what I mean?
I mean, they're not watching the Game Bet Match podcast. Like,
Oh, I think they are, man. We're up to like 500 Twitter followers now.
500 followers. I mean, if Brad Gilbert or, like Mats Wilander was or John McEnroe were saying it, then okay. But like, we can, we can hype him up all he wants. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. So
Sadly.
I don't know. I like what I see. I think he's solid on both wings. I just, 2 tour wins against Andzukic and Samber Piros doesn't necessarily make me want to have a dinner bet on him, like Arthur Fees. But
Yeah, of course. Of course. Like, but he's also, I mean, Prisma, I think Prismic is 17 or 18. Maybe he's
he's
18.
17, I
He's
believe.
17.
Yeah. And he won the junior French.
Yeah.
But
Fees is Fees is 19. So,
yeah, 2 years
you
to
know,
develop.
yeah.
I like how solid he is on both wings. And like when I saw some against Piros, like I liked his rally tolerance. I like that he stayed patient in points, didn't go for
Okay.
too much. Like I was impressed by that, so from such a young
Yeah.
age. So I like what I see. I'm curious to see what your take on the Popyrin match is. And actually, the line has moved in Prizmic's favor, surprisingly to me.
Wow. I mean, yeah, wow.
And I know the guys on the Discord were on Prizmic on Dino. I think MP9
Yeah.
had like 150 to 1 futures on Prizmic, which actually is a good play. Like he could actually probably start hedging that,
Yeah. He
which
probably
is
could.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, oh, Matteo Arnaldi, another young prospect, beat he's in the quarterfinals.
I like what I'm seeing from him. I have a 10 to 1 futures on him.
Yeah. Um,
And who does he play in the quarters?
plays he plays Sonego, I think. Because Wawrinka plays Baena, Poppy plays Prismic, Lehecka plays Jere, I think. No, wrong tournament. Lehecka plays. Can't remember who Lehecka plays. Could be wrong on that.
Lechka plays Arnaldi.
Oh, my bad. Lehecka plays Arnaldi,
Popyrin plays
not.
Prizmic, Wawrinka plays Baena, and Munar plays Sonego. I like Arnaldi, man. I continue to be impressed by him.
Yeah.
I like what I also saw against Musetti last week, like just fighting back and clawing back into that match, you know.
Yeah.
And I like his chances against Lechka, to be honest.
Yeah.
So and stand the man against Wawrinka, or stand the man against Coria today.
Oh man, I bet that was my dumb GGM bet of the day. Like Corey
Really?
was like 14 to 1 to win the second set down a break. And I bet Corey, and then he proceeded to lose the next 3 games.
Oh,
I feel like I need to stop betting this long odds stuff because like it's just like
it doesn't happen. I was the one time in that match where I was tempted to back Coria was when he held for 5-all.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
Wawrinka had 5-3, and then I think like there was some controversial call. I don't know exactly what happened. That caused Coria to hold after a long game, and then Coria held like a massive, I think 10 to 12 minute game for 5-all.
Yeah, it was
there were some ridiculous points in there. There was one where like Coria got a ball back as he was like lying on the clay, and then Wawrinka missed an easy forehand. And then he had like 3 or 4 more set points in that game, couldn't convert, and Coria held. So that was the time, and that set was already an hour long. So I was like, if Coria can keep this up and just stay, like keep making it physical, like I like Coria's chances. But
well, that's why I backed it. That's why I bet Coria is because I was like, oh, maybe Wawrinka will gas out and like, and Coria will be able to come back. But like, because that's the one thing about Coria, it's like, like his physical stamina is pretty good.
It is good. But when the lack of fire or the gap in firepower is that big, it doesn't matter. That's what this showed me. Like Wawrinka just has like so much more firepower, and he didn't feel pressured in any rally because he knew that the only way he would lose the point is if he misses.
Is to miss, yeah.
So, yep. And then Munar.
I bet Cecchinato against Sonego. That did not work. I gotta stop. He's the guy you gotta stop betting. Like he's just always so appetizing because, like, I don't know. He never wins, but like he always tries.
Well, Tennis Master was on this one, and then also like Sonego had some injury concerns as well.
Yeah. It might not have been terrible. I think it was like I actually don't think it was terrible. It was like it was a good price. It was like $250 or something. I think I got for one. Yeah.
And I didn't see any of it because I was watching Dominic Kopfer come back from the brink against Evans. But that second set must have been close. 9-7 in the tie.
Yeah, I mean, Cecchinato had a set point. It was in the tiebreak. He was, it was on Sonego serving the tiebreak, but yeah.
Bet of the
I
day,
guess
it wasn't our bet of the day, but RCB just destroyed Tara Daniel. Like how was RCB minus 120 only against Tara Daniel?
Well, because there was the injury concern, right? Because he had pulled out. His last match he had pulled out against Wawrinka.
Yeah, that's true. But the guys on the Discord were like, "I'll take injured RCB against Tara Daniel at minus 120." Like it does it really?
For me, it was more that. So the interesting thing that I actually saw here was that RCB has 7 retirements in the past 12 months.
That is crazy.
And I think it's an interesting thing to know as a bettor because, like, if you bet on a book that lets you push all retirements, like you don't have to be as worried about betting him if he's injured because if he's hurt, he'll probably just bow out.
But don't books like not pay for retirements if he's the loser? Like on a money line?
No. I mean, most books either pay out after some books pay out after the first setting. Most do that if it's the retirement after the first set. They pay out either way. And then, but they have to be fair about it, right? They can't just take money on one side of the bet and not the other. Right? If they pay out a retirement, they have to pay out both sides.
But I feel like if he retires and you bet on the money line, then you lose. But if it's like a game spread or like
not unless it's unless it varies by book, but like only on books that pay out for retirement wins can they take for retirement losses. Otherwise, they're just taking one side and not paying out the other.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the books that I've been using. I mean, I always feel like I'm on the losing end when there's a retirement. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's just my psychology, my betting psychology. What about? I mean, we'll look into like futures and quarterfinals after this, but let's head to the ATL.
Hotlanta.
Yeah, Hotlanta.
Finally, some U.S. tennis, baby.
Yes. We
actually get to watch some tennis at night. It's so great.
Oh, it's so fantastic. Like after we come back from work, this has actually been an entertaining tournament. I've actually enjoyed this. Today, Fritz against Yibing Wu. We were heavy on Wu today, right? Like we had the
my bets got there because I had plus 3.5 and I had the over 22.5. So which is basically the same thing. I don't know why I hit it twice. I think what happens, I hit the plus 3.5 first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, maybe the over 22.5 would have been smarter because like Actually, no, I was the other way around. I hit the over 22.5 first. But then I was like, like Yibing actually could win this in straights. Now I'm screwed on the 22.5. If he wins like, I don't know, like 7-6-6-3. So then I was like, I better go ahead and hit the plus 3.5 as well. I mean, ironically, both cashed in the same exact way. It was plus 3 and 23. So like I got, slightly lucky, but like, yeah. But
so I was heavier on Wu. I hit the Wu money line at plus 240 as well. Just like playing Fritz, who's been mediocre at best.
I didn't think that was a bad hit. Like if I had to hit a money line there, I absolutely would have hit Wu.
Yeah.
I just felt like this was a match where like it was unlikely Fritz was going to win this easily. Like I mean, ironically, like it barely got there, but like I actually felt really good about the plus 3.5 and the 22.5. And like I feel like
we played the games
risky
instead of the sets. I mean, I was pretty aligned with you. I preferred the games than the sets too.
The court conditions are so fast in Atlanta, man, especially with it being so hot right now.
Yeah.
Like the court conditions and like that match is kind of like a sunset match. The sun wasn't completely down yet, at least the beginning. So like, I was
I also hit. I mean, this loss, but I hit Wu to win, and over 22.5 as a same game parlay at plus 500.
Yeah, at 500, that certainly isn't bad, right? Like you got the 22.5, you just didn't get the Wu win.
Wu win, yeah.
And like if he would have won that tiebreak, I think it's a very interesting third set.
It's probably close to a pick'em almost, right?
Yeah,
probably Fritz with a slight edge, just but
not huge. Like I didn't hate the
And that match had a very similar game script to the Dallas match.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then Nishikori.
Well, so I guess my takeaway, I guess we can kind of stop there for a second and talk some tennis. Like my takeaway on Wu Yibing or Yibing Wu, it's funny. I hear it said both ways.
Yeah.
Like my takeaway on him is that he's really good on fast hard. Like his game really only plays on fast hard, I think. Yeah. Because I feel like his whole advantage is that he's not fast, but he's like quick. Or he's not even quick, but like he gets his swing is quick, right? And like he's pretty good at anticipating. And so like I feel like he on these quick hard courts, like he's able to stand he stands pretty far up in the court and he's able to take time away from people with court positioning. But I feel like his strokes aren't particularly amazing. He's not he doesn't have the strokes to do really well on clay.
He's like the opposite of Musetti.
Yeah.
He's the pure opposite of Musetti.
He is actually.
Yeah. He likes, the quick swings, the taking the ball early. Like that's his shtick. And Musetti stands 25 feet behind the baseline,
Yeah. But it was interesting because I think that game plays really well on fast hard. And that's my I think for the next month or so, while we're on these fast hard courts, I think he's a good guy to look at.
I'd agree with that. I mean, he had a decent run at the US Open, before he kind of came into, form, right? That was kind of his.
Did he qualify and then lose to Medvedev?
Right, in the third round. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then we got the return of Kei Nishikori. He just won against Zheng Sheng. I was stoked because I hit a nice 10-1 parlay with the over 12.5 on Nishikori.
Yeah, I was on the Shang side of that. Okay. I don't know. What?
The second set was actually very entertaining.
It was entertaining, but I never really felt like Nishikori was really injured. I know Shang was up a break, but never really felt like Nishikori was in trouble, did it?
Not really. I kind of regret the guys on the Discord were on this. Once Shang got the break, I should have hit Nishikori's set 2 money line.
I know.
That was probably the plus EV play there, but
I agree.
Yeah. But I mean, so Nishikori was kind of feeling his left knee. So I'm a little bit worried about the match tomorrow against Fritz. And considering it's a quick turnaround, right? It's the day match.
I have other concerns there that aren't his left knee.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Then moving on to the Dan Evans, Dominic Kofor, which might be the choke of the year. It probably is, because Evans was up 6-3 or 6-2, 5-3, 40 love on his serve. proceeded to get broken, lost the second set tiebreak. Then Evans was up a break, served first in the third, I believe, was up a break, and then Kopfer broke back to force like 4-all, and then he broke and then served it out. Like that's just awful. Like Dan Evans is a automatic fade right now. Automatic.
I mean, honestly, I didn't like this match was a pick 'em.
Yeah.
And I didn't bet it because it was like I wanted to bet Kopfer, but like at a pick 'em, like Evans is just so much better at tennis, and like I mean, like obviously, like
I don't know about that. He's better at tennis, but he's just lacking so much confidence right now.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. Like you're like if you back Kopfer in that one, like you're not going to say you got kind of lucky to get out of a 5-3-4 to get, you know what I mean? Like,
but I'm backing Kopfer because I'm not backing Evans. I'm fading Evans.
No, I hear that. But I'm saying like it's why you got to be careful with just auto fading guys, because like this match, like the line was so far off of like their kind of like true tennis level. Like I get it. Evans has been terrible lately. He's lacks confidence, all that. I hear that. But like his like his peak tennis, or even like his average tennis level, not the level he's at right now, but his average tennis level is so far above Kopfer. Like I don't know. I thought the line was actually pretty well set. Like,
okay. I mean, yeah, it was pretty pick-em-ish, I guess. I mean, Evans should have won this match 6-2, 6-3, to be honest.
Right, and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I don't feel bad. Like, this isn't a match I feel bad about staying away from, because, like, if anything, I would have felt bad if I did. Like, I would have felt like I made the wrong move if I didn't hit Evans. Like, how often does a choke from 5-6-2, 5-3, 40 love actually happen?
Yeah, I know.
Even if the guy doesn't have any confidence, like, he's still going to get through that 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then JJ Wolf against Cressy. I hit the Wolf -2 here. It came through.
I had the Wolf 2-0. I get kind of lucky. The first set was not pretty.
It wasn't.
I mean, I saw that Wolf only won 4 points on Cressy's serve in the first set.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't return well either, but Cressy wasn't throwing in those double faults. Like if he's landing his serves, it's tough.
Yeah.
You know? Like if anyone really wants to break Cressy, you're kind of relying on a couple doubles and just some dumb shots, you know, like because the match is he sucks at tennis, as you say, right? Like at a professional level. But the match is usually on his.
He puts the match onto his racket. When he's serving, he puts the match onto his racket.
Right. Right. And
but I guess you can talk the other way too about it and say like, fine, we can say all that, but like Cressy didn't break either, and like I don't think Cressy was winning. Like I don't think Cressy was getting break chances left and right on Wolf's serve. So like it was going to come down to a tiebreak, and it was just like who was going to play better in the tiebreak, and like we know tiebreaks are pretty close to coin flips no matter who you are.
Yeah, it was 9-7. It was close.
Yeah.
So
and like maybe and like tie breaks in general are pretty close to coin flippy. Like maybe in this case it's like 55-45 Wolf or something has the advantage, but it's not like tie breaks are almost never like 2-1 or 3-1.
So I live bet -1.5 games in the first set. I should have done it in the second set, but I thought like if a break was going to happen, it would be on the Wolf side, not on the Cressy side.
Yeah, I mean Cressy's just so bad at return. His game is just so bad. Like it's hard for him to break serve.
Yeah, we were talking about.
What does he actually do?
Go ahead.
Like, what can he do to break serve, Cressy?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, like
he just has to go for broke and hope the ball lands in. That's it. I mean,
or hope the opponent makes errors. Right. I feel like that's when he breaks serve. I feel like it's usually more that like the opponent just like does some dumb stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm loving our JJ Wolf 22-1 futures right now, considering he has to play Dominic Kopfer tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I'll take his chances against a Taylor Fritz right now, or a tired Nishikori. I mean,
Well,
that's
I mean, I don't even care if I'll take his chances against a healthy Nishikori. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's
okay.
not Nishikori's
Fair.
back at his like top 10 peak.
Right. Yeah, it's not peak Nishikori. It's true.
Um, yeah, I don't know. With Fritz, it's I mean, I would put him as a dog against Fritz Wolf, but I hear your point. Like,
Yeah.
he's got a shot.
Yeah, and I think he's a pretty sizable favorite against Koper. So to have a 22-1 heading into a semi is a nice position.
It's a nice position, yeah. Yep.
And bottom half you got Eubanks. That was we were on the spaces during that match. It was not the best tennis by any means, as both guys are kind of crappy returners, but like it was just nice to see that come through for us.
Yeah, it was a fun bet to hit. You know, it's always the Banks train is just a fun trade to ride.
It is. It is. And then Vukic against Nishioka. What did I hit there?
I heard Yoshi struggled here.
I hit the 3-set line here.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus 130.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yoshi. Like, if he's not doing what he does well, like if he's not counterpunching well and kind of like frustrating the opponents with his like weird ball, he doesn't really have a plan B.
That's all he's got, right? Like he's limited.
Yeah.
You go beat Lloyd Harris. I didn't see any of that. I don't know if that's particularly like that's kind of the result I would expect. And then Demonor beat Kokonakis 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Demonor is another one of our futures picks at 4 to 4.5 to 1.
That's an official play.
Yeah, that was our official GBM play with the Demonor 4.5, right? So that looks
Yeah.
I like how that's looking too. Who is he playing the quarters?
Ugo.
Oh, he plays Ugo. Yeah, that's not a bad match.
It's not a bad match. But yeah, I mean, I actually wish that match was during the day. I like Ugo's chances better at night.
Yeah, I do too, but like I'm not that. I mean, it's also never a bad thing because we have his futures to win the tournament. It's never a bad thing to be playing at night, I don't think. A little less tax on the body, right? For the future rounds.
It's true. But anyone like, I mean, Demonor, none of these guys are taxing physical players like Ugo, Vukic, or Eubanks, right? Like it's not.
No, but it just saves energy even for the final, right? Like you just want to save energy in general.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the futures prices now.
Where do we want to go first? Hamburg? Because I think Atlanta might still be in progress of being recalculated or whatever. The book's
Yeah, by the time we get to that, well, they might be up.
Yeah.
So Hamburg futures. So the outrights, Ruud is plus 175, Zverev plus 225, Musetti plus 325, Altmaier plus 900, Jury plus 1,000, Feast 20 to 1, Zhang 20 to 1, and Van Ash 28 to 1. Nothing really catches my eye, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the issue I have here is like Ruud and Zverev play each other in the semis, most likely.
Interesting. Okay.
Which makes me I mean, I don't love Musetti there at the 325. I think that's a little bit short. And then everything else below is just like, I mean, like if I had to take one, Jerry at 10 to 1 might be interesting. Because he's on that bottom half, which is where you'd rather be. And I kind of like his matchups. So I think Jerry at 10 to 1. I'm not going to play it, but I think Jerry at 10 to 1 is kind of interesting here.
Okay.
What do you think? No?
I actually prefer the third quarter to win the event. Plus 240. No.
Thinking. Yeah, it's pretty close. I don't know that I really care too much either
Or
way.
maybe, yeah, yeah. Bottom half to win the event at plus 170. Because, like, I think if Feast beats Ruud, just by that off chance that that happens, which I think is possible, then it really negates the top half being so favored here. Because, like, I feel like Zverev can lose any match. You know? Van Ash, obviously, I mean, like, he's not going to win the event. So I think there's actually, at second glance, I think there's value on the bottom half here.
I don't know, man, because the problem is, like, if I was going to take the bottom half, I'd rather just take the third quarter. Because, like, is Zhang or Altmaier really winning the event? Altmaier's not, right? Like, Altmaier can cross off. Zhang, I guess, could.
Hey, yeah, it's unlikely.
Honestly, Zhang at 20 doesn't look bad to me either. I don't hate either Jerry at 10 or Zhang at 20.
How about Feast at 20 to 1?
I don't like his draw though. He's gonna have to beat Ruud and then Zverev.
Yeah,
And then win a final. Like,
yeah. Yeah, you could
like
probably
it's kind of,
beat
I think
one
it's
of those
kind of, I don't
guys.
really see why Feast and Zhang have the same odds. Like, Feast has to play Ruud and then Zverev. Zhang plays Altmaier and the winner of Derrier and Musetti. I also think it's interesting how much more the books are, how much more Bovada puts faith in Ruud and Zverev than Musetti.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think the Jiri Musetti match is pretty close to 50-50, probably like maybe 55-45 in terms of Musetti, right? I think Jerry is a very much a live dog there. So I'd probably lean Jerry plus 1,000, plus 10 to 1. That's probably where I would go. I'm not as high on Zhang as you are. Like, I hate backing these guys that can, like, lose 1 and 2 to anyone, but that also beat anyone 1 and 2. Like, it's just hard to back in the futures where you have you have to win 3 matches to do that. It's just tough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Hamburg matches. So Jiri Musetti, we talked about this a little bit. So Jiri is a 3-game dog, plus 170 on the money line. Musetti's minus 210. Over under is 22. Jiri to win a set is minus 155. That's not great. The 3-set line, which is the one I was thinking about, is plus 140. That's the line I like here.
I like that line. I also like the I'm probably even more than that though. I prefer that. I think I might just take the Jerry money line at 170, man. Like, you talked about this before. You think this? I think this is. I'm kind of on you with this. Like, I don't know if I think it's all the way to 55-45, but I certainly don't think this is more than 60-40 to Musetti.
Mm-hmm.
And 60-40 would mean plus 150. You know, it would mean like if you think it's 60-40, then if you think Jerry has a 40% chance, then that equates to a plus 150.
I'm gonna go with that too. I'm gonna hit the money line plus 170.
I mean, it's super risky because I do think Jerry will lose. Like, I think Musetti should be the favorite, but just the 170 price for me is too good. Like, I honestly think this should be like my line should be like minus 150 plus 120 if I had to do it. If I had to put a line on this money line. So I think this is pretty wildly off. I mean, I see why, right? Like Musetti is a better player. And I think that the court favors him. But Dere has a pretty big head-to-head here. It's like 5-2 Dere, and I think it's like 5-0 on clay.
They played 7 times.
Yeah. Something like that. It might even be more.
Wow. 5-2.
It's 5-2.
And the last time they played was Naples.
Musetti's got 2 wins on hard, but Dere's 5-0, 4-0 on clay. Not 5-0, my bad.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even realize that. That makes me want to back the Giri money line even more here, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And we've seen Musetti lose. I mean, they're not similar player types at all, but we've seen Musetti lose this, sets to Kovalik and sets to Misilic in the past 2 weeks. Those are challenger. I mean, those aren't even top challenger level guys. Those are like mid-tier challenger. I mean, like Misilic is pretty good for a challenger guy, but he's not like somebody who you expect to take a set off Musetti.
And the thing with Giri is he's an aggressive baseliner, so he's going to put pressure on Musetti kind of to hit, like.
Yeah, I don't hate the matchup for. I don't hate the matchup for Dere here. The only problem is like Dere doesn't hit a particularly high ball. Dere does have a good backhand. He's a nice 2-handed backhand. He actually might be able to overpower Musetti a little bit on the backhand, backhand to backhand.
Yeah, and he'll be able to break Musetti's serve. Should be able to at least manufacture a few breaks.
Yeah, Musetti will break his serve too. I think this will be a pretty close match.
Now, do you prefer?
I don't need the 3-set line either. I kind of like
22 or the 3-set line.
What?
You prefer the over 22 games or the 3-set line?
I prefer the 3 sets in a Musetti match. Like, I don't mean like. Yeah. I don't know, man.
All right, I'm gonna hit both. So, do you want to make the 3-set line a play of the day?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Next match we got is Zhizhen Zhang against Daniel Altmaier. Zhang is a 2.5 game dog. Plus 150 in the money line. Altmaier's minus 180. Over under is 22.5. I just know where you're gonna go. You're gonna go Zhang money line here plus 150.
No, I'm not on this.
No. Interesting.
No.
Okay.
Altmaier's at home, man. That crowd was backing Hoffman today pretty hard.
They were.
And then
it didn't matter.
No, I don't know, man. Like 220 is a great price, right? To back Zhang as a dog and just let him blast away and hope. Like 150 is not as good, right? Like
I really don't have a read on this match, so I was interested to see what you were gonna go with because like I just don't know what's gonna happen.
I think this line is pretty well set. I mean, it might be a half game off. Like I think if there's value here, it's probably on Zhang at plus 150, but I'm not. It's like more of a lean for me than a play. So, and I don't even know if there really is. Like I think it might be like the books might be close enough here that it's not even worth playing. Or Bovada might be close enough here that it's not worth playing. Like I love Zhang to win a set, but minus 185 is so juiced.
How about 3-set line and plus 135?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I considered that. It's close.
That's what I'm hitting.
All right.
Will there be a tiebreak in the match at plus 140? Yeah. No, because Zhang can play he can play 6-1 sets. Like he can just overpower someone. He can't maintain that level for a full match, but he can do it for a short period.
Yeah.
And then Zverev and Van Ash is the next match. Zverev is a 5-game favorite at even money. It's a non-juiced 5 games. Minus 450. Van Ash is plus 350. Over under 21.
I'm not betting. Like it's just so hard to bet these. I mean, this is a big spread. It's just hard to bet these big spread matches. Like
just doing the futures.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit with the. I mean, like it's like I think this is pretty close. Like this is actually exactly how I would have said it if I was the book. I would have said an unjuiced 5. So when I completely agree with the book, then there's nothing to hit, right? Like
right.
Like Zverev should dominate Van Ash. Like, what is Zverev actually under 12.5? That could be kind of good play here at minus 120. See, the problem is no.
No, it's not good. If you're gonna play under 12.5, I feel like against anyone, it has to be plus money. Like it's hard. I don't mind the under here. 21. Like what can Van Ash do? Like this has 6-2, 6-3 written all over it.
Well, then lay the 5 games. It's better money.
Yeah, but I can easily see 3 and 3. Or no one. Well, you still get there. I could easily see like 4 and 4 too, and then you'd lose. Right?
Yeah, it's all kind of the same, to be honest, right? Like when you get these big spreads, all the lines kind of look the same, so it's really hard to even look too much at the derivative lines. Like all the over 21 is telling you is like, I mean, it's actually kind of a high over under. I mean, usually you see 20.5 as the over under.
Yeah, exactly.
For a 5-game spread. But Zverev also probably has a fitness edge here too if it goes 3. Maybe he doesn't. Van Ash is probably pretty fit.
Yeah, straight sets is minus 165. It's not good enough. Oh, minus 150 on the set exacta. That's actually not bad.
Zverev 2 love.
Mm-hmm.
That might be my play. I mean, if I'm gonna play it, that's the only thing I could really consider. But like at that point, like, do you really think these sets are both gonna be that close? I mean, I don't know. Oof.
And these guys have
Like
never
minus
played,
150
right?
is brutal. What?
These guys have never played.
No. But Zverev tends to beat softballs like this up pretty well, you know?
Yeah, he does. I think Van Ash is actually a perfect matchup because Van Ash's best shot is that backhand cross court, and that goes right to Zverev's strength.
Yeah. I mean, look, I came into this wanting to back Zverev, but then you see a 5-game line, and you're like, well, okay, thanks, you know? Like the 2-0 at 150, I think is not terrible.
You know what? I'm going to do the under 21 here instead. It's still too juiced, minus 150.
Yeah. I mean, they're all kind of the same, I think, to be honest. Like, I don't really, that's why it's hard for me to get like too excited about it.
I just think it's going to be hard for Van Ash to even get 5 games or like, get to 5 games or 6 games in the set. Like he's really going to have to redline to get there. So I like the under 21. I think that line should be under 20 and a half. That's why I like it.
Is that and a half a game is worth 15 cents of juice?
Yeah, to me it is.
All right.
All right.
Like usually a half game, I think on the over. I mean, if you look at the alternate over under, you could play the alternate over under of 20 and a half. It's probably not plus money for you.
Even.
It's even, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna hit then. All right, next match here we get is Casper Ruud and Arthur Fils. I think this is my favorite match of the day. What are your thoughts?
It's my favorite match of the day, but I think the line is pretty close here. Like this is basically 4.25, you know, because it's a juiced 4, right, for Ruud. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think this is pretty close. So I don't have a play here.
Really? Okay. My play is Fils to win a set at even money.
Okay. It's a little better than I looked at it, but okay.
And I like the Fils set 1 money line at plus 210.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going here. What's for the alternate of 4.5? Minus 135. Ugh. I actually don't mind these like feasts over 9.5 games. Because like he has a pretty big game. Like if he wins a set, he should win 9 games.
Well, why not just take the set and even money?
Yeah, that is true. You know what? I'm going to take the sets and the games here. 4, I think a non-juiced 4 is okay. But I'm much higher on feast than you are.
Yeah.
I don't like, I mean, as you said, Ruud is kind of in a fade spot here, right? Like,
yeah, I just think I just like this. I look at this line. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I think this line is pretty
but this
fair.
is the type of opponent that can trouble Ruud, right? A guy who kind of hits big. He's gonna be able to pressure that backhand, right? Feast is he's not like great on either wing, but like kind of hits each wing, kind of penetrates through the court. So he's gonna cause Ruud to defend here. I don't think this is the guy that Ruud really wants to play here on a court that he doesn't like. No?
You're moving me towards it, but I'm still not quite there. Like you might have moved me. Oh, it's yeah. I can probably get a lean on fees, but it's like I don't dislike the play at this point. I'm not gonna back it, but I don't dislike it.
There's no way you're backing Ruud in this spot, though, right?
No.
All right, that's fair.
Umag. I want to see these updated outrights just for comedy's sake.
Yeah,
yep.
outrights.
And what I expected.
Lehecka plus 300, Wawrinka plus 300, Arnaldi plus 450, Sonego plus
anybody's ball game, man. I mean, look at that. Like literally everybody has like reasonable odds.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I think I'm just gonna stick with my Arnaldi 10-1. Popyrin at 8-1 is interesting.
What?
Popyrin at 8-1.
Yeah, I think Popyrin 8-1 is really interesting.
The Popyrin play, I think he has the weakest quarterfinal opponent in Prizmic. Then he would play Lehecka or Arnaldi. So like that would serve as my hedge against Arnaldi. And then who knows in the final. I actually might hit that at 8-1.
Yeah.
You tailing me?
Contemplating. It's so close, man. There might be some value there. I got to think about it. Like the question is really like, what do I think about a potential final against Wawrinka or Sonego? That's what I got to think about.
How about no on the unseeded finalist? So Lehecka or Arnaldi, they're both seeded, and one of them will be in the semis. They'll play an unseeded guy in the semis, Popyrin or Prizmic. And then you have Wawrinka, Carballes, Baena, and Sonego all seeded. The only unseeded guy in the bottom half is Munar. And it's basically the same.
I
know we like Popyrin, but I still prefer Arnaldi. Like for me, Popyrin would just kind of be my hedge against Arnaldi. Like I don't think Popyrin is a favorite against either Arnaldi or Lehecka, which is evident by the futures odds here. So I like this unseeded finalist bet at minus 120.
I'm thinking. I don't know, man. I mean, like the question is really just really more how much do you think Munar has a chance to make the final, right? Like, can he be I mean, and it's tough because like the answer to like every single one of these questions is like, can player A beat player B is yes.
Mm-hmm. I think RCB against Wawrinka is a tall ask. And then I actually think Popyrin against Prizmic against Popyrin is actually a tall ask too. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really have a good play there.
All right, I'm gonna hit the unseeded finalist.
All right.
No unseeded finalist to make the final at -120. And then I'm gonna hit Popyrin. I know that kind of contradicts each other, but Popyrin is like to hedge my Arnaldi pick. And I guess in a way hedge this pick too. So
yeah, I don't hate that. I actually don't hate the Arnaldi. Like the one thing that's the Poppy at 8-1 is potentially something I'll look at.
yeah. All right, let's look at matches now. So Lehecka and Arnaldi is the first match here. Lehecka's a 1.5 game favorite, -140 in the money line, over under 22.5. Arnaldi's +115 on the money line. I like Arnaldi money line here.
Me too. This to me is a GBM play of the day candidate.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not too excited about Lehecka being team 3 and 5.
I also like Arnaldi over 12.5 at +110.
I do too, but I just prefer the money line straight up.
It's the same. It's actually a little better. Okay. 3-set line here is +130, but it's always dangerous playing 3-set lines with Lehecka. I've noticed.
Yeah.
The Arnaldi 2-0 line is +250. That's pretty good.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I think I'll stick with the money line personally, but yeah.
I'm gonna do half a unit on that.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. 2-0. All right, so GBM play of the day. Arnaldi money line. I don't know. I just don't trust Lehecka. Like he's erratic, and I think Arnaldi is just like a little bit more solid. Like I feel like I can trust him more.
Yeah, I don't think this is like an amazing. I actually think it's a close match. I might flip the like. Yeah, I might flip these. Like I think Arnaldi should be the slight favorite actually, or maybe it should be like close to a pick 'em. But like, yeah.
Okay. Now Popyrin and Prizmic, pure pick 'em here.
I'm all over Poppy here, man.
Me too. You want to make this the second play of the day?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, me too.
This is actually my favorite play of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
like I get it. It's a little scary because like Dino's at home. He's the talent. You know, he's like the young talent at home. He's got the crowd. But like I really don't like Poppy's been really good on clay, man. He's like trying to look at his. I'm gonna look up his stats this year, but it's really good.
I think when we did our power rankings on clay, I think he was like in our top 10. Or not top 10, top 20.
Borderline. So this year at ATP level, Popyrin is 8-6. He's won 50.7% of points, held 85% of the time, broken 17. So he's playing like above average ATP level, which for him is pretty good. I mean, he's not like he's probably not top 20, but he's playing like a definitely a better level than Prizmic. Like,
yeah, Prizmic is ranked out of the top 200. He's 17. He has 2 tour level wins in his career. And he's a pure pick'em against a guy.
And he's better than that. Like, let's be clear, he's better than that. It's just he hasn't had the time to rack up points.
Yeah.
But the question is he top 50?
Not at this stage. I just think
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Popyrin hits a way better ball than either guy that Prizmic's played. So like those wins don't really tell me much. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I
Heroes
mean,
and
you just could
Julio.
go sloppy red and then like it sucks, but like, I mean, that's betting,
But the
right?
bulk,
Like,
but Popyrin's ball quality is just at a much higher level at this point.
yeah, if he hits it in, right? He can go
Yeah.
sloppy red and then make every miss every ball. But like, I think again, that's just a risk you take when betting. Like he's been pretty good.
What about if we like the Popyrin money line? What about the Popyrin 2-0 line here at plus 205, plus 210? No?
No, no, I don't think so personally. I mean, like, I think it's a good. I think it's good, but I think the money line is better.
I can't stay away from that. It's plus 210 for Popyrin to beat a 17-year-old in straight sets when he beat Sebastian Offner, who won 2
No, I
challengers.
think it's good. Like if I couldn't find a better line, I'd be all over it. I just think the money line is like is better.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll make Popyrin money line and Arnaldi money line plays of the day. And then
Yeah.
I'll sprinkle a little bit on the straight sets for both of these guys.
We're gonna actually sprinkle and go full unit again.
I think I'm
You
gonna
always say sprinkle, and like, oh, full unit, and then it's like you're not sprinkling, dude. Sprinkle is like you sprinkle a little bit. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, I've actually increased my unit size just a tad. So
Okay.
but I think I'm gonna go full unit on the Popyrin one and half a unit on the Arnaldi one. That's
All right.
what I'm looking at.
All right.
All right, Munar and Sonigo. Munar is a 2-game dog here, plus 120 on the money line, over under 22. Sonigo's minus 145. This is a match really.
I hate playing Lorenzo. I'm not playing this because I hate playing Lorenzo Sonigo matches. Like unless I have like a specific like read or something specific about a Sonigo match, I hate playing them. And I don't really have anything specific here, so I'm just not going to play this.
The reset line is not good enough. Plus 130. I was hoping it would be plus 140. And I probably would have played it. You know what? I'm gonna stay away here too. I just have no read on it. Like it could go so many different ways.
Yeah.
Probably the over is where I would go, over 22. But it's juiced.
Yeah.
Because you have that like counter puncher, that aggressive counter puncher versus that like aggressive style, like in Sonigo.
Yeah.
And it's tough because like Sonigo could be amazing, but he could also be very erratic. So it's a really tough match to read. Last match, Carballes by and Stan Wawrinka. Wawrinka is minus 3.5 game favorite, and unjuiced 3.5. RCB's plus 3.5. Minus 215 for Wawrinka, plus 175 for RCB, over under 22 here. So this was the matchup that they played in Gstaad, right? And like RCB retired.
Yeah.
It was against Wawrinka, right? And the
Yep.
first set was
Yep.
6-1.
It was 6-1-3 when he was up when Van retired. No, I don't know anything about that injury. I don't know when RCB sustained that injury. I don't know if he had it before the match. I don't know if it was during the match. I don't know if RCB just quit. I have no idea.
That's all they've played. This is tough, man. I don't really know what to play here either. Do you have a play?
I do not. I do not. Like I think Wawrinka. I mean, I like Wawrinka, but it's. I mean, you gotta lay the 3.5 games. You gotta lay the set and a half, right? That's the only way you're gonna make anything significant on this. So
Who did Wawrinka beat in his first match here? Misalik.
Yeah, I mean, he tends to do pretty well with these guys where he's got the power advantage, right? He's definitely got the power advantage here. Like, this tends to be a good spot for Wawrinka. I don't know.
The thing with Wawrinka, like what I like about this straight set line is what I'm considering hitting is because like if he wins, I think it has to be straight sets.
At least it's hugely beneficial to him if it's straight sets. He really does not want this to go 3. I hear you.
And like if RCB wins this, I think it's going to be 3 sets.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know what? I'm going to do half a unit on the Wawrinka 2-0, and I'm going to do half a unit on the RCB 2-1.
Interesting. All right. All right. All right.
Okay. That's how I'm going to play this. All right, let's head to the ATL. Oh no, only 2 matches up. Boo-hoo.
They've been really slow about this. Unacceptably slow.
Unacceptably slow. This is, oh my god, no futures too. This is pathetic. All right, let me go on Bet365 and see if it's up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And these matches are later in the day, which just makes it even dumber.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, no, that's it. No one has it yet. All right, so I guess let's just talk through these 2 matches then. Eubanks and Vukic. I like Eubanks minus 1.5.
So I got 2 plays here. I got Eubanks money line at minus 150.
Okay.
I just think, man, like outside of money line, this match is gonna is gonna be like tie breaks. Like, if you look, like Vukic is a big server, right? Who really doesn't have that much else. His forehand's decent, but doesn't really have much else. Eubanks is a big server, doesn't really have much else. We saw against Nakashima. Like, this is just gonna be tie breaks. Like,
I see a similar game script to like Eubanks and Nakashima, I guess, right? Or like
actually, well, that's not good if you like Eubanks, because Eubanks saved 7 break points in that match.
Yeah, but no, so maybe it's more like the Wolf and Cressy. Whereas like I feel like if Eubanks if someone breaks in this match, it's going to be Eubanks. Like I don't
I agree with that.
I don't see how
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, but I don't think a break is necessarily guaranteed here. I think you might get one in the second. I think it might play out very much like Wolf and Cressy did. But I don't know that I want to count on that. I think that having the minus, yeah.
Yeah, but if he wins in 2 tiebreaks, you win that bet. Which is why, like when I played the Wolf Cressy match, I was adamant in getting the two games. Like I didn't want 2.5. I was not going to do that.
Yeah, I get it. But I think 1.5 is the right line for this match. Like if I was the book, I would put it at 1.5. I mean, it really depends on how much you think Eubanks can break. Because like betting on any guy to win 2 tie breaks against another player to win 2 tie breaks in a row is like at minus 120 is really not a good bet.
I think he's going to break at least once here.
Then it makes sense, right? And this all depends. This all depends on how much. Like this all comes down to how much do you think Eubanks can break?
Yeah, I think he's going to manufacture a break here. What was your other play?
The first set tie break is at plus 175. That's my other play.
See, I don't trust Vukic's serve that much. I don't necessarily think there's going to be tie breaks here, in my opinion. I like this actually. First service break, Eubanks at minus 130. I actually like that.
You could end up with no. What happens if there's no breaks for the match?
I think it's a push.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Vukic against Nishioka. I'm trying to go back and look at the stats. Like, I think he held 70%. Well, no, he didn't do as well against Nishioka, but he was pretty good. He's pretty close. That's something. I don't know, man. Like, neither of these guys can return at all.
I break in the first set plus 175. I'm not a big fan of that. For me, my plays are first service break minus 130 and Eubanks minus 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you believe more that Eubanks can break more than me. Yeah, I mean, so Vukic won 33% of his return points against Yoshi in the quarters, which is terrible. And he won 31% against Ethan Quinn.
That's terrible too.
That's not great either.
So if he's struggling breaking or returning serve against those two guys, would suggest that he's gonna have any success with Eubanks.
Nothing, but Eubanks also struggling against Nakashima's serve, and I would put Nakashima's serve. I think, and Vukic is in a pretty similar spot.
Eubanks still manufactured 2 breaks, and also like he has a bigger game, so he can like go after a couple of second serve returns and put a little pressure on him, come into net. Like he can do stuff to win a few points. Whereas like I feel like Vukic is just gonna have a hard time getting that ball back.
I mean, it depends if you think Eubanks can execute 4 points out of 6 to break serve, right? Like, I mean,
I think he will manufacture a break here. I would actually be very surprised if he doesn't.
Okay.
Just one. Like I'm seeing like 6-4, 7-6, like that kind of score.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to be the other way around. I think it's usually easier to return guys' serves in the second set than the first set.
I mean, that's not what we saw in these 2 matches today with Wu and Fritz. And I know
that was what we saw in Wolf and Cressy.
That's true. That's true.
I haven't seen data on it, so I don't actually know, but that's just my thinking. Because like, I would think that guys' arms get like. I would think the more you kind of see a guy serve, the easier it gets to read, right?
I guess. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters with Vukic though.
But I think it does matter for Eubanks.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind the tiebreak playing the first set. I just think like Vukic is not going to get any breaks, and Cressy and Eubanks will manufacture 1 or 2.
All right.
So, all right, last match: Ugo Humbert and Alex de Minaur. Humbert is a 3.5 game dog, plus 210 on the money line. De Minaur minus 260, over under 22. Any play here?
I think this is dead right. This line, I'm not playing this. I think this is dead right.
I like de Minaur over 12.5, but not at minus 130.
De Minaur over 12.5 always scares me. He's so good on return. Like Humbert's probably going to need to get a break to make that happen.
That's true. Ugo scares me though. Like I mean, he could be really bad. Like when he lost to what did he lose to?
Peniston?
Huh?
Peniston. He lost to. Yeah.
Peniston. That was terrible, man. I got some time to think about this. I do want to play this in some capacity, but I might ask the guys on the Discord and stuff and Gambino.
All right.
But leaning something with Ugo, maybe to Ugo to win a set. Like Kokonakis was up a break against de Minaur, and I think Humbert is way better than Kokkinakis.
But getting a break doesn't mean you win the set against de Minaur.
It doesn't, but like he was up a break and he had chances to win that set. Or like chances to get, just Kokkinakis is just very mentally weak, right? Like he just kind of, as soon as some adversity came his way, he just like faded, Whereas like I don't think that's going to happen with Ugo. So, all right, well that does it.
Do you want to talk about the other two matches quickly? Like what do you think the line should be on Wolf versus Kupfer? Like if you were putting that line together, what would you put it at?
I would put it at Wolf -3.
I would put it at 4. So we're pretty close. I would put it at 4.
Okay.
I think there's a pretty big gap. 4 is 1 break a set, roughly. I don't feel like Kupfer's the kind of guy who like draws a ton of tie breaks. Wolf is getting better on return. He's getting like more athletic and better on the returns than at defense.
Would you consider Wolf -1.5 sets? Like if that's like -110, -120?
That's probably around the line. I would need I probably would want to get even money on that.
Okay. All right. And then the Fritz Nishikori match. What's your guess on the line there?
My guess is like Fritz -3.5. I do think Fritz is just better than Nishikori. Like I think he's just better at tennis. Like I don't know. That was a fun match to watch tonight, but like I don't know, man. Like was it like
you think Nishikori should be more or less of a dog than Yibing Wu?
Less. No, more. He should be pretty close. Probably nearly the same.
They're actually honestly, pretty similar.
Maybe players. A little bit more. What?
They're actually pretty similar players. Yibing Wu and Nishikori.
They are. But I think Yibing Wu's serve is a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Maybe not bigger, but more accurate. He hits, I think a little bit more aces than Nishikori did, a little bit better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm a little bit worried about that knee though. Like, how is it going to turn up tomorrow?
Okay.
So I don't know. But I just have a really tough time backing Fritz right now. Like, I don't think Fritz is playing that well.
Yeah, I don't think he played very well tonight either, to be honest.
He did not.
But
so I want to see the line. Like if it's -2.5, I'm hammering Fritz. If it's like 3.5, I'm probably going to stay away.
Okay.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, that does it. So quarterfinal day tomorrow in these 3 tournaments. Pods are coming fast and furious. We're going to probably do one on, I would say Sunday, right?
Yeah, we'll try to do Sunday.
Yeah.
GBM plays of the day, guys. 2 out of Umag. We got -120 on the +120 on the Arnaldi money line. We got -110 on the Popyrin money line versus the Dino, the dinosaur.
Nice. Let's keep this good run on GBM plays of the day going. We're like 16-4 in our last 20.
Yeah, it's awesome how well we're doing. I'm a little more nervous about these than I've been about some others. But yeah. I feel like tomorrow's slate is pretty tough, actually. Pretty tough slate.
Yeah, it's a tough slate of matches. Yeah. Yep. Anything else coming up? Next week is there are 3 tournaments DC. I'll actually be there on Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'm looking forward to that. There's Los Cabos, right?
There's Los Cabos, DC, and then I think there's something in Kitzbühel.
Oh, Kitzbühel. So it's a great week because you just literally have tennis all day long.
Yeah, it's a great week.
Amazing. So it's a good week. And then we got the 2 Masters 1000s for the 1 week Masters 1000s in Montreal, Toronto, and Cincinnati.
I know, which I'm excited about.
It's gonna be great. Great times. And then the US Open is rolling around the corner. So
Yep.
All right, guys. So have a great night. We'll continue to chatter on Twitter as well as Discord. So join us there. And Good luck on your bets. See ya.
All right.